A listener warning. Please be advised that this episode contains content that may be disturbing to some listeners, including descriptions of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Life upon the wicked stage ain't ever what a girl supposes.
I'm Jen.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Olivia.
And we are, in fact, three different people.
This podcast focuses on true crime under the spotlight of arts and entertainment. So grab your beverage of choice and settle in.
Places, ladies.
Here's our episode.
They weren't incompetent. They just weren't aware of what was really happening. They thought he was a serial killer at the beginning, which is part of the reason they didn't catch him before he got to Miami, because they thought it was a serial killer. And really, in pattern-wise, it was not. So the difference is a serial killer there's a pattern that shows up in every case. And there seems to be a similar motivation each time. Spree killing, the motives change. There is not clear patterns in the ways they are killed, or the types of person they are killing. It can be different people. And that is what happens here with Andrew Cunanan. It's more of a killing spree rather than a serial killing pattern.
Is it distinction? I'm asking because I don't know. Is a distinction between spree and serial that typically serial killers, they may select their victim, but they don't necessarily know their victim. Whereas spree killers, it's almost like they're going through a list of people who have like wronged them, but like they usually know the person. They're not necessarily seeking out a stranger, or is that not
for the spree killing? Actually, it can be anyone. Whereas serial killers, it is often they're selected for a reason. Whereas spree killing, it's not necessarily a reason.
Okay.
So
hence you're just on a spree.
So
you're
the victims can be
having a weekend.
Yeah. Going on a bender. It can be former partners, acquaintances, strangers, or celebrities.
Whereas serial killer is like, I have chosen to kill, I'm making this up, brown women with bangs, and I strangle them all with a special kind of rope.
That's right.
God damn it.
That's you, Jen. I don't have bangs today.
I know. Jesus, I'm in danger, girls.
You in danger, girl.
I'm in danger.
So, yes, that's exactly right, Ashley. Yep. So it started April 27th, 1997. The first victim, his name was Jeffrey Trail. He was a acquaintance of Cunanan, not believed to be a lover at all. However, something interesting, which I haven't seen this really pointed out anywhere, but it's just facts. This guy was a former U.S. Navy officer. Now, his father was a retired naval U.S. Navy. So I don't know if there's the association. He was the friend of Cunanan's former boyfriend. He was beaten to death with a hammer.
Oh my God.
And wrapped in a rug. This is timeline wise considered the first murder. Okay. The second murder.
Do we know what prompted this? Like why, where and why? What for why
was
he beaten to death with a hammer? Like, why was he sought out as, like, literally, it sounds like a friend of a friend. Like, he is on the proximity of this relationship.
Well, this is what I learned watching the miniseries, is that these two guys, Jeffrey Trail and David Madson, were
in a relationship.
Yeah, and they were friends. We don't know. We know what does that mean in this is a lot of this is like dramatized speculation from the miniseries.
Right.
Oh, right. See, the miniseries makes it seem like they were gay and they were in a relationship, is what the miniseries
right. So yes.
suggests.
So Andrew had been in a relationship with David Madson.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with David Madison, who many of us know lives in Orlando, and he's a lovely human, and he works in art curation. Not him. Right.
Different person.
He and David Madson, Cunanan and David Madson had split up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There is some really convoluted things that probably went on, have to do with like walking a dog. I don't know if you in the miniseries, there was Andrew killed Jeffrey, probably out of jealousy, because Jeffrey was coming over to David's apartment and Andrew was there, and David
was he like house
David
sitting?
Wasn't there. Yeah. Pause for 1 second. And let me just get let me find the more in-depth details of this particular murder, because this one is so strange.
Yeah. No, I haven't watched it in a minute, but as I'm recalling, it was that he was like house sitting in the miniseries, and that he was like, he saw him out walking the dog, and he's like, oh my God, like you are the new lover, and I'm jealous of you, so I'm here. And he basically like kills him, and then takes Madson on the run.
That is what happened. Yeah. I just wanted to clarify before I say the wrong thing, what led to the killing of Jeffrey before. Yeah, because David did go on the run with him, but I'm sure it was out of terror. I think that he kidnapped him, basically.
Yeah, kidnapped.
No, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey Trail was the first, like I said, the first murder. So Jeffrey was in this circle of friends with Cunanan and Cunanan's former boyfriend, David Madson. Cunanan was racking up credit cards at this time. He was opening credit cards, racking them up, and appearing to this circle of friends as if he was very wealthy. Because he was lying. Right. That's right. Yeah. So there was this party that this group of guys, and Cunanan and Jeffrey and David were all part of this group, got together and had this party. Now, Cunanan stayed with David Madson. So he was staying with him at this time in David Madson's apartment.
Okay.
So Cunanan and David Madson went to dinner and went out to a nightclub. Then the next night, Cunanan stayed in Jeffrey Trail's apartment. He's a little bit of a couch surfer at this point because he doesn't have anywhere to live. Yeah. So he's staying with friends and paying for things, but fake paying because he's racking up credit cards, not paying them, opening new credit cards, things like that. Right. So he's staying with Madison first, then he goes and he stays with Jeffrey Trail, again, who's friends with them. And Jeffrey Trail was out of town with his boyfriend. So this is now I'm remembering this like sequence in the movie. Jeffrey Trail tells his boyfriend that something's up with Andrew. He is concerned. So Jeffrey, there are some people along the way that are also interviewed later that are like, something was just wrong. Even a couple teachers of his back in school are like, there was something off. So Jeffrey is like, something's wrong with Andrew, and I'm going to confront him because I think he's taking advantage of David, his friend David, right? It's all these guys that are hanging out together. So the last anyone hears from Jeffrey is Jeffrey says, I'm going to find Andrew and I need to have a really important conversation with him.
Oh no.
Jeffrey and his boyfriend together come back to Jeffrey's apartment and Andrew's gone. So I think Andrew figures out that Jeffrey's onto him as far as the lying about the money and taking advantage of things.
Sure.
Right.
So Jeffrey and Andrew make touch, and Andrew is now going back to stay in David's apartment. Again, this is confusing because he's apartment hopping. And Andrew says, I'm going to come over to let you into David's apartment and we're going to have a talk. Okay. So when Jeffrey arrives at David's apartment, David isn't there. No, I'm sorry. David is there because this is part of the trauma that happens to David. But David doesn't know this is that there's this going to happen.
Going to happen, yeah.
So David's in the apartment. Andrew's already there. Jeffrey comes over to kind of confront Andrew about all his financial and his fantasy life also. He's been telling all these lies.
Right.
Jeffrey's just sick of it.
Yeah, you're not who you're pretending to be, and we know you're a fraud. Yeah.
So Andrew also notices after Jeffrey had stayed in his apartment, this is the last final piece to this, getting this story started, that his gun is missing. And he believes Andrew has stolen his gun. So he's like, you're lying, you're defrauding all of us. All these stories are bullshit. And I'm pretty sure you stole my gun. And now he's concerned about Andrew. So all this is happening. Yeah. Andrew says, come meet me at David's apartment because I'm staying back over here and we'll have this conversation and we'll make it right. As soon as Jeffrey walks in the door of David's apartment, Andrew beats him to death with a hammer in front of David.
Oh my God. I do remember this. Now that you're saying, Olivia, I do remember this from the miniseries. And it's just, there's no provocation. It's just, he attacks him out of absolutely nowhere. And David is just like standing there, just completely like it's fight or flight. And he's just, frozen, which is the third option. Just frozen, just like paralyzed by the horror
beats
of
him
what
to death.
He's witnessing.
And remember, Andrew has Jeffrey's gun. So he's armed. He's just beaten his good friend to death in front of him. He rolls him up in a rug. In the miniseries, I think he makes David help him. Who knows if that really happened or not, because there's no one left to tell us what really happened. But
they're in the apartment him in the rug for a while.
So here's where the dog comes in. The dog's, I think the dog's okay. By the way, actually, I don't know what happened to the dog.
God.
But neighbors over the next few days saw Andrew and David together walking the dog. It was like an area where they all knew each other and everything. They saw them walking the dog together after Jeffrey disappeared. So they know, timeline wise, Jeffrey was killed. They stayed in the apartment for at least 2 days, walked the dog together. And then they took off.
Wow.
You're just in the apartment with your friend's body / the person you've murdered with a hammer.
No big deal.
Just wrapped in a rug. Ooh, no, that's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot. Yep.
On May 2nd, they took off. Of course, Jeffrey's boyfriend is like, my boyfriend's missing. The last time he was supposed to be seen. So the pair was spotted on May 2nd, north of Minneapolis, together. The cops, the FBI at this point, think that David is part of it. They think they conspired together to kill this. They make up some story that it was a love triangle because, again, once you throw in gay,
feels a little gay.
Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, and the family's like, no, we think he killed him and took him hostage, which they were correct.
Yeah. Yes. Sometimes there's more to it than just gay. Cops are like, I don't know. It seems very gay. We couldn't possibly solve it.
It can't be anything else. Run away.
So a few days later, David's body is found. He had been shot with that gun that he was probably threatening him with the whole time.
Yeah.
He had been shot in the head and back. So assassination style, if you will. But
oh, wow.
Yeah. In Minnesota.
Where was he
so this
found?
was in Minnesota near Rush Lake.
Wow.
So Jeffrey was killed in Minneapolis. And then they went on the run forcibly. David forcibly went on the run. And then David was found at Rush Lake in Minnesota.
Okay. Didn't go very far
before he killed David. He just killed David within a couple days of.
Okay.
So they were in the apartment for a couple days.
No, my question just in the midst of that was there a reason that he took David with him in the first place? Like, why didn't he kill him at the apartment as well? Like, did he want something from him, or did he like need him to use his credit card? Like, why even take him all the way out to Rush Lake?
Right. I mean, he was short on money at this point because his credit cards were he had maxed them out. I don't know if it's revealed. I don't know if there's an actual motive that I've seen as to
there doesn't have
why
to be.
he held him for a
just
few
something.
days.
Yeah. It seems like the amount of work to take a hostage with you. Granted, he's traumatized, but also like you've got to take this person with you, and at some point, one or both of you also needs to sleep, so that like you kind of like kept this going, like you kept it captive with you. Like that seems like a lot of work, if only to just murder them in a secondary
location.
location.
He had been his former lover, so was there some kind of trauma bond where he was trying to keep him with him? They had been lovers. He didn't want, he had abandonment obviously issues. Did he not want to leave him behind? But then
it's like a security blanket.
I mean, the docuseries goes into the fact where, David is completely horrified and is trying to get away from him. And then when Andrew realizes he's not going to like win him back over type of thing, he kills him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey friends, Jen here, and we hope you're enjoying this episode of Life Upon the Wicked Stage. Just a few quick reminders. If you're looking for any of the visuals that we've mentioned in this or any episode of the podcast, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Wicked Stage Pod or Facebook at Life Upon the Wicked Stage. If you want more, please join our Patreon by searching the Wicked Stage Podcast. There you'll find ad-free episodes, videos of our recordings, mini-sodes, behind-the-scenes content, giveaways, and so much more. And the most important side note, if you like the show, please give us a nice rating wherever you listen. It sounds silly, but it's still the best way to get the word out and support us in this crazy podcast world. Well, lights are blinking, intermission's over, so grab those snacks and another drink and enjoy the rest of the show.
So, but what really happened between the two of them, I don't know if we know.
We don't know.
There's so much written on this, though. If anyone out there knows, like if there's like a biography or something, to read. But so this is also at this point is where the first FBI misstep, or I should say, in law enforcement misstep happens.
Okay.
Because it was 3 gay men who were. 2 of them were known to have been lovers at one point, and then 2 show up dead. They think it's they classify it as a domestic violence issue.
Feels very gay. How could we possibly solve it?
No, because of that, Minnesota did not alert the federal authorities yet.
This is the same shit as Jeffrey Dahmer.
Was that also in Minnesota? Or was that Michigan?
Jeffrey Dahmer?
Wasn't that
Dahmer?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Michigan.
Didn't that also happen in Minneapolis?
I think Michigan.
Hold on.
Let's look it up.
I should know this.
I know,
I'm
me
falling
too.
down on the job. My serial killers.
Milwaukee.
This was the same thing as
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I know
Wisconsin.
it's them. Okay.
No, but this is the same shit as Dahmer when they're like, oh no, 2 gay men? Like this feels very gay.
Yes.
Like we can't possibly dig too deep into this. We might catch the gay. And it's like,
we might catch
sir, like a crime has been committed.
That
like this man is running down the road naked.
First of
a child with a hole drilled in his head is running down the road and you're like, I don't know, he says he's his lover, so
gay.
Seems fine. Like
so enraging. And I thought the exact as I was looking through the FBI missteps, that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, they did not acknowledge killing spree also versus serial, because then they made the mistake of looking for serial anyway. So this was the first big mistake. So the FBI was not fully mobilized, and there was a major delay in time. So Andrew had time on his side.
Okay.
Damn.
Now, because of this also, later on, law enforcement was changed in lots of ways, largely because of this crime spree that he was able to get away with. Yeah. And now they mobilize much faster if someone seems mobile, violent, and emotionally unstable. But at the time, they just wrote it off as a domestic incident.
Right.
So those were.
Well, at least we have that.
At least there's that. So those first two murders, that's how they happen. The third one, and then I'll just kind of go through these because I want to spend some more time on how this impacted Versace.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So May 4th, 1997. So again, this is just, this is all within the same few weeks. Lee Miglin, he was a prominent real estate developer. This was someone that he did have a covert relationship with. He was an older, wealthy man, and it was believed, I think, was going to cut him off. And
Miglin was essentially his sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember this from the
and
series.
He killed him in a very brutal way. He bound his hands and feet, wrapped his head with duct tape, stabbed him more than 20 times with a screwdriver in his garage, slit his throat, and stole his car. Miglin's family has always said it was random. They don't want to believe, but investigators have said it wasn't random. The way this happened, like the violence and brutality, clearly they had perhaps even a one-night stand rendezvous. Something had happened to bring Andrew into Lee's home.
And I'm sure there's a money trail there that's probably the smoking gun, if you will, to put the to tie the two together, because it's, you don't end up in a wealthy older man's garage just on accident.
No, you don't.
No. And they connected this back to Andrew because David Madson's red Jeep was found near Miglin's house, and Miglin's car had been stolen. So he ditched the Jeep.
Change vehicles. Yeah.
I know. May 9th, a few days later, in New Jersey, William Reese. This one seems to be the random opportunity killing.
The odd
one out. Which makes this more of a killing spree rather than serial killer, because you could argue maybe he had resentment towards his gay friends, former gay lover, this gay man, but this one throws that out the window, as really does the Versace killing. So this William Reese was just a cemetery caretaker, and he was killed so that Cunanan could steal his truck. So this was just a killing of necessity.
Didn't know him, no connection, just wrong place,
wrong time. So that's 4. And the 5th one is Miami Beach, Florida, July 15th, 1997, Gianni Versace.
Wow. So from May
9th to July 15th, he was on the run.
He drives from New Jersey to Miami,
and was on the
Florida,
run.
Makes
and
his
here's
way.
So how is it that he got away with this for so long? So besides the fact that the FBI didn't get involved right away, they did not. So the FBI, like I said, the car did connect him. They realized, okay, this is our same guy. However, they did not add him to the FBI's most wanted list, which that means there's a national BOLO that goes out. The FBI did not add him to the list until June 12th, which was 6 weeks after the first murder.
Wow.
And so they waited until there were 4 victims, till everybody was to put him on the FBI top 10.
Jesus.
When you get put on the top 10, there's wider media circulation. All the agencies are aware.
You're at all the post
office. All the post offices. There's coordination between, because each state has their own FBI.
Right.
Sure.
The states start coordinating. Now, because of this, There are earlier national alerts when they feel like a suspect will cross state lines. At the time, there was not.
We've done the bare minimum.
Right.
Again, right? Yeah.
Right.
We've done the thing we should have done in the first place.
The departments in Minnesota, Illinois, New Jersey, and Florida were not operating together, and they did not have all the information. And so he was able to jump states, and the states didn't recognize that murder as being part of this spree in time.
That's why it took so long to catch Bundy.
Yeah,
changing states, and they're like, the people in Utah
have no idea
what the people in Colorado were doing. And you're like,
so this case contributed directly to reforms within the FBI of real-time data sharing and centralized case coordination. They didn't have this at the time.
In the 90s. Wow. We like to talk about Bundy, and that was 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
This is like in all of our lifetimes. In 1997. Yes. This is like, we're on the verge of like the internet age, and they're still like, maybe we should like talk to each other about the crimes.
Just a thought.
Like, maybe that would help. Like, good Lord.
Communication.
So, the FBI also, after the first 3 murders, they profiled his, this is where they thought he was a serial killer. They profiled his killings as targeting wealthy gay men that he had had relationships with. So this is where they thought he was a serial killer. But then he killed William Reese, a complete random person.
Yeah.
Just a guy.
Yeah. And then one of the most egregious failures was because they talked to Cunanan's friends, acquaintances, as they were trying to figure out where he was going next. After the fourth murder, they knew he had ties to Miami and South Florida because he did have some connections down there.
Okay.
Cunanan, throughout this spiraling adolescence, not just the murder spree, just in his early 20s, began telling the story that he knew Gianni Versace. And he... So that's why post-mortem, there was some speculation that they did actually know each other.
Did they even? Yeah,
sure.
But because of his elaborate fantasy life,
he claimed
in the line,
he knew Gianni Versace. He claimed that Versace, he had met him at a show, and that Versace, like, he had this whole fantasy that he had told lots of people. So the fact that he had connections in South Florida and Miami and had been talking about Versace for quite a while. They're saying this was a huge miss because the authorities should have alerted Versace, first of all. Nobody ever talked to Gianni Versace about this guy, and they should have assessed this as a high celebrity risk and put security detail on Versace and his home. And they didn't do either of those things.
Wow. So there was reason to believe before Versace was even killed that he was potentially at risk because this guy who is now, they know who he is. They know he's killed 4 people. They know he's unaccounted for. He's on the run. They're like, hey, he's got this weird story about he knows you. Maybe just be on the lookout. Maybe lock your door. Maybe just, be extra careful because this is a weird thing that has happened.
Yep.
And that's something that happens. There are a lot of celebrities now who, they've either been flagged that, like, some person who's out of their mind has said, like, I'm planning to kill so-and-so. Or I think it's Ariana Grande has a very well documented stalker.
She does.
And, a lot of celebrities do, but have extra security. And I think Taylor Swift also has a pretty aggressive stalker and has security detail just dedicated to tracking the stalker's whereabouts, so they sort of know that the stalker is accounted for and okay, stalkers in Chicago, we're in Michigan, we're good.
So part of the reason that's so robust now is this case, because this changed how the FBI and law enforcement thought about risk assessment for celebrities. So they knew, not only did they know that he had spun these stories about Gianni, had the connections, he also, his people that were being interviewed as they were trying to find him told the FBI that he was obsessed with status and celebrity. So there were flags that Versace should have been taken into account.
Warned. Yeah.
So we're going to pop back to Versace. So this is Tuesday, July 15th, 1997. And I did want to spend some time talking about how this day unfolded for Versace and the impact this had on the Versace family and brand. And also share a little about the house, because the house itself is still there and is now this landmark. So Tuesday, July 15th, 1997, Miami Beach. Gianni is in his Miami Beach home. Casa Casuarina is what it was called, on Ocean Drive. And he was there with his partner, Antonio D'Amico. Right. They lived together. They lived in the home. So it was a normal morning. He had a very low-key routine that he kind of followed when he was just comfortable at home. He would wake up, he would have coffee, he would go for a walk in the neighborhood. He usually did this without security, even though he at this point was a very known celebrity. People in Miami Beach just knew him, and they would see him around, like in the birdcage when they're walking around and they're all saying hi to everybody. It's kind of that vibe. Now, again, he should have been warned and had security with him.
Yeah, he should have been.
Until Andrew Cunanan was caught. But
I just can't believe that they didn't even mention it. That just blows my mind.
So before 9 a.m., he walked to the nearby News Cafe on Ocean Drive, got his coffee, magazines. He liked to buy the Italian newspapers. See what's going on back home. Everything was fine and normal. After leaving the cafe, Versace walks back to his house, Casa Casuarina, and everything seemed out of the ordinary. Nothing seemed, out of the ordinary. Everything seemed normal as he approached the front gate of his home.
Okay.
As he is unlocking the iron gate entrance to his mansion, and again, everybody knows this is Versace's mansion. It's very elaborate.
It's very gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Very specific. Probably has a Medusa on the front of it.
On the gates, actually. Andrew had been waiting for him. He came up behind him and fired 2 shots in the back of his head. Close range. Versace most likely had no idea anyone was behind him. And the shooting occurred just before 9 a.m.
God.
The miniseries, this is where the family was upset. The miniseries insinuates that they had met at some point. Not that they'd ever had a relationship, but that they had met and had this conversation that was like life-changing for Andrew. Travel records, Versace's very known itinerary of where he was, never puts him in the same space as Andrew. So it's very unlikely that they ever actually met. This is very likely a story that Andrew made up in his head and told everybody.
So completely, this is all fantasy. Versace has no idea who this guy is.
In the
truly a stranger
miniseries, they make it look like Versace turns around and they make eye contact and connect. That is not what happened. Forensically, he was shot in the back of the head.
Never
even saw it coming. Honestly, if it had to happen, thank goodness? Question mark.
Yes, yeah. He was not pronounced dead till he was at the hospital, so he may not have died immediately, but for all intents and purposes, he was.
They tried to save him.
Brain dead. I'm sure it was.
Right.
It seems like it was quick and
it was more than one shot, but at least one of them, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, it was a through and through.
Oh.
Through and through, like back of his head, and came out like right under his eye, I think. So it was like that is a fatal bullet wound for sure.
Other
just the one even
kind of thing that has become infamous, was a bit misrepresented, but not completely in the miniseries, is that there was also a dead dove found with him on the steps. That is true.
Oh,
but
really?
The miniseries made it a white dove to make it more dramatic. It actually, art direction. It actually, which to me is actually a little more meaningful, was a mourning dove, which is the brown dove, but it's mourning. And mourning dove is MOURN, not mourning like top of the day, mourning like sad.
Top of the day.
So it's actually a mourning dove. Was. So.
Was the dove shot too, or how did the dove die?
What there was confusion. Obviously, Antonio hears the shot, comes outside. Also, it was a very busy area.
Yeah, it's on Ocean
Drive.
Yeah, that's the main drag.
It's the main drag. That's exactly right. Reporters arrived within minutes, unfortunately. So,
of course,
there were photos taken by pedestrians of his body. The reporters showed up almost immediately before he was taken to the hospital. And at this point, he may have been still, what is alive at this point? But he may have still been something happening, like as far as heartbeat or whatever.
It's horrible.
People were going up to his body with whatever pieces of paper or napkins they had on them, dipping it in his blood.
What?
That actually is documented as happening, so that they could say they had first, because they knew it was Versace. Many people saw right after the shooting, and this man walked casually away after the shooting. So they got good looks at him.
God.
What is wrong with people though? Like who knows? Unfortunately, I've never witnessed something like that. But I think I'm pretty confident that if I unfortunately were to witness something like that, no part of me would be like, let me make sure I get a little souvenir that I can maybe, I don't know, monetize later. Ew, what the hell?
It's so, and they said that.
Because why else would you do that except to monetize it and be like, oh, I can sell this.
Because they knew it was his house. Now,
they knew it was
they may not have known it was instantly Versace, but someone famous or a big deal had been shot in front of this famous person's house. So obviously.
No part of me in witnessing a medical emergency is like, let me get some of their blood for later.
Yeah.
And not do anything else.
Or to help.
Yeah,
or to,
let me not help or call or anything.
Detain the person running away.
Correct.
And the early coverage of this incident was not people telling what they'd seen. It was actual photos. The whole thing was documented. The blood pooling on the stone staircase. There's photos of that. Partially covered body. The gate. Police tape trying to hold the crowds back so they could take his body away. There was photographers that flooded the scene within minutes. They got onto adjacent balconies. It was just a total media circus.
Terrible.
I hate it.
Yeah. The dove... So there was a dead dove on the steps at first, because things were so chaotic. They weren't sure why the dove was dead. And there was, I don't know if it was momentarily, but there was at first the law enforcement thought this could have been a mafia assassination because that was a thing where doves were left at the scenes of certain mafia hits. Shit.
Also Italy.
Right. I know. I was like, that's so racist.
The Parmigiano assassination.
Oh, no. God, too soon, Ashley.
Sorry. Just trying to bring up the mood a little bit.
So, but then they realized the dove had actually been, so what had happened was the bullet that, likely the one that went through and through, hit the gate and splintered. And at that exact second, there was a dove there, and a fragment of the bullet killed the dove.
Oh my God. What are the chances?
To me, that's like so wild. 1 in a million chances. I just feel like it was almost like the universe crying at the loss of this great artist.
Yeah.
Yep,
you know?
Well, diggity dang. What I know we only have so many more episodes here left in our season. Well, until next week.
Yeah.
And scene.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Wicked Stage Pod.
Follow us on Instagram and check out our Patreon for more exclusive content.
These deliciously wicked episodes drop every other Friday, so make sure you subscribe or follow and don't get left waiting in the wings.